Welcome, I'm Charles Bradley from Domino Veterinary Hospital, and welcome to Facebook Live. It is our fourth in our fall series here from Domino Veterinary in beautiful downtown West Concord, Massachusetts. And I'm going to talk to you about a topic I don't know an awful lot about. I'm trying to learn more. It's very topical today. And the title of my presentation today is CBD, hemp, and cannabis products and your pet. What you need to know from a veterinarian. So cannabidiol is a phytocannabinoid extracted from cannabis. So that's what CBD stands for. Again, cannabidiol is a phytocannabinoid extracted from cannabis. So cannabinoids are very popular on the human side for medicinal purposes. There have been discussions that I've heard as a veterinarian that they can be helpful in dogs and pets. I personally don't know about that. It's not in my body of experience, but I'm trying to learn, and this is just a general message to you. The research you will have to do, and I will tell you what we know for the purposes of an overview. And I'm going to read from this list because I want to make sure I get this information correct for you guys. So as these products become more popular with humans, many people want their pets to also benefit from them. We've heard many anecdotal stories of these products helping anxiety, inflammation, and pain. Mostly pain and inflammation. I've also recently heard about it being helpful in separation anxiety, particularly with dogs. What is separation anxiety? Well, that's when everybody leaves the house and leaves Fluffy home. And Fluffy becomes very destructive. So that's a real good common example of canine anxiety. So this is a key point for me. It's important to understand that veterinarians are not legally permitted to discuss any cannabis product as a therapy or treatment for your pet. So I cannot prescribe it, I can't discuss it. I'm just trying to raise your level of awareness that this is in the general conversation for pet care. It's also important to note that very little clinical testing has been done to understand the long and short-term effects of cannabis on your dog or cat. Colorado has started testing the effects of cannabis products on pets for seizures and epilepsy, but we're far from having a complete understanding of how these products will impact your dog in the short or long term. Now, something I can speak about is marijuana toxicity, and I kind of learned this in the last few years, and I think it's driven by the fact that there are marijuana edibles now. There's a very unusual cluster of signs that you'll see in a dog sometimes, and that would be the dog that comes in that's really amped up, excited, showing neurological signs, but also vomiting. And you're thinking to yourself, what could, you being the veterinarian, what could cause a dog to have gastroenteritis and neurological signs at the same time? So I learned by a referral to our local veterinary school that marijuana toxicity is actually quite common, and it's the edibles. And you have to think about the edibles because that's part of the human side of marijuana delivery. And dogs like to eat chocolate, and they like to eat stuff that's stashed away. So that's a very scary presentation, and the excitement can even lead to seizures, and it's a very well recognized syndrome. So marijuana toxicity is a very real thing, and it remains to be seen whether it will be a more common diagnosis or not. At this point, here at Domino, it hasn't been a very frequent diagnosis, but sometimes we have to do a little probing to find out what is actually happening in terms of that as a possibility. So as far as the dosage of cannabinoids, that's where it's a little scary, because I've had clients tell me, well, they just took the little product that their friend talked about, and then they took a few drops, or they just said what the other person said to give. And that might be right, but I have no way of knowing. I'm not trained in that, and I cannot advise. So dosing and preparation, purity, all of those things are important. These products are not approved for use in veterinary medicine. They're not manufactured at a drug level, if you will. I think that there may be some companies out there that are doing a good job. I don't really know that. because I know that in the supplement industry there's not much analysis or scrutiny. So sometimes the label claims of supplements aren't held up in testing and research. You think about the purity of the product, you think about the cross-contamination, the standard things we think about with supplements. So I think that this is an area that we have to be conscious of as well. There is research in this field. I know that there has been research done at Colorado State University and also Cornell, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to start to see the cannabinoids entering mainstream veterinary medicine. I don't have any concrete evidence of that just yet, but I think that there's enough of a conversation driving this. We have so many older dogs that are either anxious, but particularly painful with a degenerative joint disease. So I think that that's something that we want to be aware of, and we are attempting to learn as we go. So to wrap up, here are the take-home points. Your veterinarian cannot legally discuss or prescribe cannabis or cannabis-based products at this time. Testing is incomplete. We don't know an awful lot about the pharmacodynamics or pharmacology of this product, but I think that there is ongoing research, as I said earlier. There's an awful lot of good stories out there, but stories that, they're maybe not validated in a clinical setting or reproducible in a clinical setting. And that's true of the whole world of supplements as well. And lastly, the marijuana toxicity is a real threat. If there are edibles, remember that dogs like to seek those out. And lastly, cannabinoid is a Schedule I controlled substance. So it is not a prescribable product at this point. And I would encourage you to do your independent research. We can't really discuss much more than what I've given you at this point. What I can do, though, is if your animal's in pain or if you have an anxious patient, we do have some great strategies for anxiety, nervousness, social issues. We also have some good strategies for pain management. I'm thinking particularly about dogs that have degenerative joint disease and so on. If you have questions in the area of traditional medicine in terms of anxiety or pain management, please do let us know. We are here at Domino Veterinary Hospital 6 days a week, and our email address is dominovet@gmail.com, and you can call us at 978-610-6870, 978-610-6870, or check us out here every Friday on Facebook Live. For now, I'm Dr. Charles Bradley thanking you, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.